Hello, hello! Today we have a little mini review of the VISEART San Francisco, what is it, the ÉTOILE? They're like these super little small palettes. They're like super tiny. Like, here's a pen. Super tiny little palette that you can just throw into your purse. Like, it is tiny. It's literally probably the size of a cassette. I wanted to get this one because I'm from the Bay Area, so I love San Francisco. San Francisco is one of my favorite places to go to. It comes in like a kind of like a VCR, if you remember what those are, kind of little cover. So when we pull it out, ta-da! It's upside down. Ta-da! It has the skyline of San Francisco at night. It's so beautiful. I love it. Regardless of whether or not I think this palette was going to do well or not, to be honest, almost strictly bought it just because it has the San Francisco skyline on the packaging, right outside on the carton. It's so cute. And then on the other side, it just says San Francisco Étoile, which I think is how you pronounce it, but I'm not exactly sure. It's got little stars and all that. You open up this flap, and then you open up the other flap, and there's a little mirror. There's a little mirror right there, and then you have the product. It comes with this little plastic piece that you just pull off. I leave it in there because I don't want my mirror to get dirty. But you get these four beautiful colors. They are Union, Lombard, Castro, and Golden Gate. And then on the bottom, we have Fillmore, Presidio, Marina, and Ghirardelli. Which I feel like some of these colors make sense. Other colors I'm like, what? I don't know about that one. Like Ghirardelli chocolate makes sense. A blue for the Marina, alright. Why is the Presidio brown? What? The Fillmore? Why? I don't understand this shade. It's like a light pinky peach. I don't understand how that would associate that with the Fillmore. Golden Gate, I think did a pretty good job because the Golden Gate is, I mean, it's supposed to be painted orange, right? I gotta get my facts straight. Either it's painted red and then oxidizes to an orange, or it's painted orange and oxidizes to a red. To be honest, I don't remember right now, but I think it does a really good job of doing this kind of like red rusted orange color, and once applied to the eye is very pretty. I tried this for basically 2 days. I used each row to make a look, just because I just wanted to see how they apply. I'd never used VISEART makeup before, so I wanted to see how it worked. So I used these 4 on the first day, and to be honest, I was initially kind of let down because I felt like these weren't, as you know, I am a shimmer gal, these weren't as sparkly and as shimmery as I wanted them to be. But I have to remind myself, and I think it's a good reminder in general, that just because something isn't maybe as intense as you want it doesn't necessarily make it a bad product. Because I definitely thought about, you know, people who are older or just people who maybe aren't into super intense, sparkly colors, and I feel like they would like this. Like, this is something I could give to my mom. She'd be like, yeah, this works, this is great, I love it. Once I got over that initial kind of like, oh, it's not as sparkly as I want it, it really did look really pretty. And I think the thing that really surprised me was the fact that this palette, this first row, I looked in the mirror about 6 hours after I had applied it. It looked exactly the same as when I had initially applied it. Like, I didn't have any creasing. It was still really pretty looking. I was so surprised. That's not something you usually find. Because usually at around like 5-6 hours, my makeup does start to crease. And it, you know, it's makeup. It's not permanent. It's not going to last forever. So eventually it does start to fade away. It doesn't look as nice, obviously, as you just applied it. But I was so surprised to find that for this first row, everything looked pretty much as if I had just applied it. So I was really pleasantly surprised. So no, these aren't like the most shimmery colors in the world, and they're not super intense, but they are very soft, they're very nice and buttery. It was very easy to blend out. It was very pretty. I next tried this entire row. Ooh girl. These two, Marina and Ghirardelli, surprised me. They are pigmented. I was so taken back. I thought I had to put a little bit on my brush. Apparently it was a lot because they got intense really fast, and it was a huge contrast to the colors that are from up here. And I was like, oh no, it's super intense. So these two are really good. I would actually compare them to like the Natasha Denona colors. I have the Metropolis palette from Natasha Denona, and she has some really intense, almost, they're so dark, they're almost like ink. They look like ink pads in the palette, and these two are really intense and like that. And I think it's a good balance to the rest of these colors that are pretty light, and it's really quite nice. So I made this bottom look ended up a lot more intense than I thought it was going to be, but it was really nice. So let's do some swatches on my arm, just so we can see what it looks like applied onto the skin. Alright, here are the shades on my arm. From top to bottom, we have Union, Lombard, Castro, Golden Gate, Fillmore, Presidio, and Marina and Ghirardelli. This is kind of one of the issues I always have with why they always apply these really, really light, like, beige shades. That top one, you can barely even see it. You can kind of see it, but not really. It's more meant to blend out. On camera, Lombard and Presidio look very similar. I would say the difference is that Lombard, I think, is slightly warmer, but also I realized when I was applying it, has some sparkle in that formula. I don't know if you can see on camera. It should be a little sparkly. You can tell that we have Castro, Golden Gate, and Fillmore are our shiny ones. Very shiny. They applied very pretty. Oh, I didn't realize how soft this formula was until I started applying it with my fingers. If you notice that these two on the bottom, we have Marina and Ghirardelli. Look how dark they are. And you can totally tell by the way that I applied it on my arm, like you can totally blend it out. It looks already nicely blended out at the ends. I kind of thought when I was applying it, I kind of thought about like black ash. If you've ever had like a barbecue and accidentally touched some of the black like soot that was on it, it kind of felt like that. Like it's ashy in a good way. That's really what it felt like. So this is my little mini review of this palette. I was looking online before I initially bought it, and I was trying to figure out if I actually wanted it. I didn't really see a lot of swatches or descriptions of how it all felt, so I really hope this is helpful to someone who may have not purchased VISEART yet. So for this one, I think this one's good to go. I'm happy with it. I'm glad it wasn't a dud, and I'm not just keeping it because of the beautiful artwork on it. I'm keeping it because it's actually a really good little baby palette. Like if you are on the go and you know, if you gotta take that backpack on an airplane and that's all you can take, this would be this is so crazy travel friendly. And it doesn't even have to be travel friendly. You can just throw this in your purse for everyday outwork and just have it ready and available. Definitely a good little buy. Hope everyone has a great day. Alrighty, bye-bye everyone!